Hey guys, how's it going? SK here. Thank you so much for tuning in. And before anyone, cracks wise, I'm not wearing the same clothes. I'm just pumping out a lot of content in one day. So what I want to talk about in this video actually is, why I decided to join the Marines or am currently trying to join the Marines. I know I've said, that I'm on the journey right now, but I thought it'd be a good video to explain how I came to that conclusion. And ultimately, I hope this helps out some people. So I've been thinking about joining the Marines for about 3 years now. And, the reason why I didn't do it sooner was because honestly, I believed I was going to go to the recruiting office and I was afraid I was going to get laughed out of there. I thought I was going to sit down in that recruiting chair and, it was going to be this big, muscular, 300 pounds of muscle, just Marine, just looking straight down at me, and I was afraid they were going to say, dude, we're looking for the few and you ain't it. Go. So, I pushed those feelings to the side, especially after, I really couldn't get into the Coast Guard. And I'm like, you know what? It's just not in the cards for me. So I gave up. And, I became a wedding DJ and I worked at a couple pizza places and I did DoorDash full time for a year. But that feeling of me wanting to join the Marines never went away. So ultimately, I'm like, okay, well, I want to serve my country. I want to be part of a military branch. What military branch could I do? And so I decided to go inside the Navy recruitment office. Thought, hey, my wife won't be worried about anything, and I can, go see the world, whatever. I can serve my country through the Navy. But right next to it was a Marine Corps recruiting station. And, you know, every time I would come out of the Navy one, the Navy office, I'll just look at that Marine office and, going into the Navy one just didn't feel right. I was dedicated to become a sailor. I was really trying to convince myself and I was watching videos on, going down to the boot camp and just, nailing it out. But it just didn't feel right. It just didn't feel right. And so ultimately, it was one morning, and I didn't even plan on this. But after 3 years of me saying to myself, I want to become a Marine, finally, something just kind of broke in me. I'm like, look, I'm going to try. I'm going to try at the very least. If I get laughed out of there, the worst thing they could say is I'm not going to be with a few. Because tell me if it's different now, but when I was in high school, every high school kid that wanted to go into the Marines, you know who I'm talking about. They had the backpack that was United States Marines. They were beefed up. They were the guys you really didn't fuck with. And I thought that was like the minimum. That's the minimum. Before they even talk to you, that's the minimum. And I wasn't like that. I have stretch marks from when I was overweight. I just dropped down to 180 pounds, but not too long ago, I was 210. I was fat. I was eating ice cream sundaes all the time, drinking soda all day long, just hanging out, not doing much. But one morning, what ultimately made me decide to go into the office was I was looking at my wife and I said, hey, hun, look, I want to become a United States Marine. Now, you can stay with me and you can support me in becoming a United States Marine, or I'm going to become a United States Marine. And I told her I would really like for you to come along, though. And honestly, didn't know what my wife was going to say, but she's like, okay. You know, I'm lucky enough to have a good wife that said, instead of flipping out, instead of leaving me, instead of anything she could have done, her response was, if that's what you need to do. Because I talked to her about the Marines a few times, and I talked to her about how much I wanted to join any military branch since we've been together. We've been together for 4 years now. And finally, I decided I was going to go. But there was one problem. And this is the part I really hope to help some people out with. I was hated. I was a weird kid. And I really, in the last couple years, kind of broke off from that. I still have some tendencies that are weird, but I'm not the quirky, TikTok, oh yeah, I'm weird. No, I was fucking weird. People did not like me. I was creepy, I was weird, and I'm ashamed of some of the things I said and some of my actions I took when I was in high school all the way back to elementary school. I was the weird, smelly, loner, nobody. I was fucking nobody. Okay? And, I'm breaking free of that. So the reason why I bring that up is because going into the Marine Corps, office, the only concern I really had was I always knew, like, the Marines are gonna suck, right? The Marines are what you make of it. I've heard that everywhere, but ultimately, getting through boot camp, it's gonna suck. I don't want to be private pile, right? So the only question I had when I got a hold of my recruiter was, "A, does anyone, get left behind?" I've been outcasted because I was weird. I've been outcasted for a bunch of other reasons. I've been alone, besides my wife and a couple friends I made along the way. If I'm going to join the Marines, I want to do it because I want to be part of a brotherhood. I want to be part of a family. Is there any risk that I'm just going to be pushed to the side like I have been my whole life? And he talked to me. And, short answer is no. Once a Marine, always a Marine, and every Marine is a brother, every Marine is a sister, all Marines, all family. And that was good enough for me. And I talked with him, and when I first got there wasn't a monster. Guys, they're human. I promise you, no matter what movie you have seen, no matter what posters you have looked at, honestly, without the uniform, like, yeah, they're all jacked Marines. You can go on YouTube and find a billion, Marine influencers that take off their shirt and the whole nine, but they're human. They're people. They just serve a higher purpose. There wasn't this big, girthy monster looking down at me telling me I'm not worthy. There was my recruiter. And he has been phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. Both people I talked to in the recruiting, both people I talk in the recruiting office have just been phenomenal. And any question I've had, they've answered it with the utmost respect and honesty. Okay, when I was trying to join the Navy, they said that they were going to put in my paperwork to MEPS. I don't know if they did or didn't, but I didn't call them back and they never called me back. At the Marine Corps office, we do PT twice a week. They're making sure that I'm getting enough water. They're making sure that any bad habits I was having, like always eating out fast food, always drinking soda, I told one of them that I had soda, and I talked to them about how much I regretted it, and we both said at the same time almost, soda's not on the menu. They have been molding me to now, since I've joined them, not joined the Marines, but since I've joined that office and I'm just a guest trying to become a pulley, let me tell you something. My self-confidence has gone through the roof. My self-doubt is gone. My life is better. I promise you, if you walk into a Marine Corps station, if you think you're not worthy, go do it. Go try. Don't give up on yourself, bro. It's not the way to live. I promise you. Okay? They will help you. Any branch should help. These are just my personal experiences with the recruiters I've had in my area. It might be completely the opposite for you. If you want to go be an airman, join the Air Force. If you want to go be a sailor, join the Navy. If you want to be a Marine, go to the Marines. If you want to be a soldier, go to the Army. If you want to be a coastie, go to the Coast Guard. Whatever branch you feel appropriate. I'm not bashing any branch for any reason, but let me tell you something. I decided to do the Marines because it was the right move, and honestly, I needed that kick in the ass to get my life in a better direction. My wife's happier for it. I'm happier for it. Any doubt we've had has been gone. And I know I might get some people that have been in the Marines and left and, have just said how it's the worst decision they've ever made. I've talked to people personally throughout my life that have given me that story. You want to know what, though? I'm going to take my own personal experience. Maybe I will join the Marines, and maybe it won't be it. It's a risk I'm gonna take, but I'd rather take that risk than lay on my couch eating sundaes, drinking fucking soda, and being a fucking loser. I'd rather take that fucking risk and join a brotherhood that has already made my life better today than it was yesterday. And I encourage everybody to do the same fucking thing. If you want to be a Marine, I believe you could be a fucking Marine because I was a fucking loser for most of my goddamn life. And I'm changing that, and you can change. I promise you, bro. I promise you, sister. I promise anybody watching this, you can be better. You just gotta put that little bit of effort into it. If I could go from always hanging out on the couch drinking sundaes and fucking eating soda, I know I fucked that up. If I can go from that to where I'm heading now, so can you. I didn't even have anyone that let me play MW2 when that was big at the friend's house. I had nobody besides my mother and my stepdad and, my room for a while. And I had some friends along the way. I wasn't 100% alone 100% of the time, but I was mostly alone because even the friends I had told me I was a loser. Do what makes you happy. Your gut's not wrong. If you want to be a singer, go sing. If you want to be a Marine, go be a fucking Marine. You're the only one stopping yourself. Do not give up. If I can fucking go to the Marine Corps recruiting office, and if I can sit down with a Marine, and if I can try to go to San Diego, and if I can try to do everything, and if I succeed into it, then you can too. You will not find a bigger loser than me. Promise you. I promise you, you will not. Stay motivated, stay dedicated. Have a great night.